Topic 1. Apple's longtime CEO Tim Cook is stepping down. John Ternus named CEO, while Tim Cook becomes chairman as Apple moves into an AI-focused era. Tim Cook will step down as CEO and become executive chairman on September 1. The board said the unanimous decision follows a long-term succession plan, and Cook will remain CEO through the summer to ensure a smooth handover. John Ternus, an internal candidate with more than 25 years at Apple and the current senior vice president of hardware engineering, will become CEO and join the board. Johnny Srouji is promoted to chief hardware officer, and Arthur Levinson becomes lead independent director. Cook's legacy includes growing Apple's market value into the trillions, platformizing the iPhone to expand wearables, services, and health, and rebuilding supply chains and political relations. The company faces urgent AI-related challenges, Siri upgrades delayed, Vision Pro adoption limited, plus supply chain and geopolitical risks. Ternus must leverage hardware expertise to integrate AI into differentiated devices and decide how much to build an internal AI platform versus using third-party models. Some AI features already rely on Google's Gemini. The stock dipped slightly, and analysts say Apple must show early AI results. Topic 2. Geopolitical tensions with Iran, including escalating US-Iran rhetoric, ceasefire pressure, and Hormuz shipping disruptions, have rattled markets. Oil prices rose after renewed tensions near the Strait of Hormuz, and jet fuel shortages threaten airline operations. US-Iran tensions have intensified with aggressive rhetoric on both sides, while a 2-week ceasefire agreed on April 7 nears expiry, creating urgency around negotiations and uncertainty over whether Iranian representatives will engage as talks shift locations. Incidents at sea, including US seizures of vessels and Iranian reported shootings, have effectively disrupted shipping through the Strait of Hormuz at times, with tracking data showing traffic sharply reduced. The prospect of supply interruptions sent oil prices higher and created jet fuel shortages that threaten airline operations, prompting carriers to cut schedules and raise fares and fees. Airlines face sharply higher fuel bills, and some low-cost carriers face severe financial stress. Markets have reacted with increased volatility, energy stocks up, airlines down, and investors are watching for ceasefire extensions or a reopening of Hormuz to determine whether the shock is short-lived or will persist for weeks to months. Topic 3. President Trump has nominated Kevin Warsh for Fed chair. Kevin Warsh's Fed nomination faces a high-profile confirmation hearing and sharp Senate scrutiny, raising debate over Fed independence and monetary policy. President Trump nominated Kevin Warsh, a former Fed governor 2006 to 2011 and ex-Morgan Stanley executive, to be Fed chair. He will testify before the Senate Banking Committee amid expected partisan clashes and a possible committee deadlock because some Republicans want to delay votes until a DOJ inquiry into Jerome Powell concludes. Warsh insists he will protect the Fed's independence, but faces scrutiny over close ties to the president and whether he would yield to political pressure. Democrats worry he would be swayed by White House demands for rapid rate cuts. On policy, Warsh emphasizes price stability and has been viewed historically as hawkish on inflation, but has signaled flexibility on the timing of cuts and prefers treating the 2% objective with some range and measurement caveats. Concerns about transparency and conflicts of interest have arisen from his substantial personal assets and limited disclosure of some holdings, while critics cite his record around the 2008 financial crisis. Markets are closely monitoring the confirmation for implications on rate outlooks and treasury yields. Topic 4. Amazon's potential $25 billion investment in Anthropic and broader AI-driven moves in tech and markets, including JP Morgan lifting its S&P 500 year-end target to 7,600 on AI-driven earnings, and